welcome back to my shop. A few weeks ago I did a video on a natural edge multi-axis cherry burl vessel out of this piece of wood, and after keeping this piece of wood for a number of years not figuring out what to do with it, after getting that piece to start, I came up with an idea for another project out of that piece of wood, a natural edge cherry burl box that looks like this. And it's not an original idea. Actually, I got this the idea for this from Mark St. Ledger, and I'm going to put a link. He's got a handout on how to do this, and I'll put a link down in the descriptions if you want to go over that handout. But stay tuned. Okay, I cut off this piece of cherry burl, maybe 5 inches long, about a little over 2 inches thick, and I'm going to cut the two sides. I've got natural edge burl on these two sides. On these two sides, I'm going to cut it back about 10 degrees, so let's go ahead and do that. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is put a glue block on the bottom. I've decided that took this little circle and tried to figure out exactly where the bowl of the box would best be, and then I transferred that center point to the bottom, and then that's where I'm going to glue this threaded glue block, which I have flattened the bottom of this, and I'm going to glue that on there, and then after it dries we'll meet back up at the lathe. Okay, I've glued this on with medium CA. I put just a little bit of accelerator on it. Now I'm just going to put one more safety bead along the outside, just for protection, and then we're going to give this a few minutes to dry. Now for the top, I'm going to take a thin piece of Blackwood scrap that I had. I drew a circle on it to match the approximate size. I'm going to cut that out on a bandsaw. I'm going to take a scrap of that cherry burl that that came off the tip of the box. I'm going to shape that a little, knock off some of the excess, and then we're going to turn that between centers on the lathe to make a finial handle that's going to go inside here. And we're going to mount this on that glue block that we used for the actual box with a little double stick tape. Okay, we're ready to get started now. I've let the glue dry for maybe 15 minutes. We're going to bring up tailstock for support. So let's go ahead and screw that on there with this wooden block. And just to be on the safe side, let's just give it a little bit of a test. Okay, I feel better. Now we're going to bring up tailstock support. We're going to line this parallel to the face of this piece of burl. Check that I'm going to be cutting on center. Yes. We're going to use a small 3/8 inch bowl gouge, and I'm going to just shape this over a little bit to make it slightly convex on the top before we start hollowing. Put on my face shield, make sure everything is tight. And that's a little bit off balance. Turn it up, see if I can't get past that vibration. It looks like I have a little bit. Alright, now I'm going to take this and just do pull cuts right outside the box area. Get a feel for what's happening. And we're sloping it down. Uh-oh. Look at that. If it hadn't been for that tailstock support, I'd have been in trouble. It glue didn't hold. So we're going to have to try something different. Okay, this time I put some accelerator here. I don't think it really got onto the glue. I need to get this thing centered first before I do that. Alright, so I'm going to bring up tailstock support using that center point hole to get it squared up. And then once I get it in place, I'm going to bring up a little broader support. support on it. And hopefully by getting the accelerator on here, I think what happened is the glue just wasn't drying. This is bone dry, this is bone dry. CA needs just a bit of moisture. Now I think we'll have a little better luck. Put just a bead around the edges. Okay, here we go. Okay, now I'll do a little hollowing. Still holding up. Alright, before I hollow it, I'm going to get a little bit of a get just a little bit of a divot in here. I'll use my trusty drill, find the closest spot. I don't think I want to go a whole lot deeper than about that. Back this off a little bit. Give it a shot. Now, let's get a feel for how big this thing ought to be. Bigger than that. Here's the blank I'm going to use for the top, so that's plenty big. So I think that's as wide as I want to get it with that outside ring. As far as the top goes. And that inside ring, probably about the depth of the hole, maybe just a bit wider between here and here. And I'm going to use a small 3/8 inch bowl gouge for this. And we're just going to ease it in. Here's the bevel. I've got to go in perpendicular, just like that, so it doesn't escape. Brace it with my thumb. Straight down. Now, it's hard to turn that corner, so I'm going to use one with a little blunter tool rest rattling around here. I've got a blunter tool closer to 70 degrees to make that transition at the bottom. Looking good. I've got a little bit further to go. Okay, I'm at the bottom. So I think what I want to do now is just take this round scraper and just smooth that profile just a bit. Going at about 1,000. So before we turn it around, let's touch that up with a little bit of sandpaper. I'll touch the inside and the outside off camera. Then we're going to have to come up with a jam chuck to reverse this on, so we can take off the glue block and shape the bottom. I'm liking that a lot. Okay, I found this little scrap spindle with a tenon on it that fit my 3/4 inch collet, so that's what I'm using just because it was already readily available. And this was a close approximation to the size I needed. I measured it with a set of calipers, and that's how I'm going to set it. It's pretty close. Mostly I got to round it over and take this part back just a little bit. We'll go right into ingrain here and bring this a little deeper. Okay, now it looks like a pretty good fit. What if I just get a, y'all can see this, move this out of the way. I'm just going to get a flat chisel. This should break loose freely because it's brittle, this CA glue, so I'm just going to smack it one time. And let's see if it doesn't shear off. There we go. That's a beautiful thing. Now I'm going to bring up tailstock support and start shaping the bottom a little bit.